Hi everyone, this video talks about the different form fields that are available within the Form Designer module in eSchedule. As a reminder, in our knowledge base, if you scroll down within the article that talks about the different form fields, you'll see a good example here of some of the different fields that are available in the Form Designer module. A couple things to point out: you'll notice that fields that are set to required on the form template will show up with a little red asterisk next to their name. You can do labels above each field here, or as what we might use them for would be a section header. You'll see another one down here with a little bit of space after it by using our blank row field, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. So do check out this article if you have more specifics. I'm going to jump over to our demo account here and we'll show you a couple examples of how you can use the different form fields here. So I'm going to go into our forms navigation. I'm going to go down to Form Designer, and to add a new form, as a reminder, you'll hit the blue plus symbol up here. I'm just going to call this test form. Now, as mentioned in the other videos, you need to have at least one field and set that to be required. And I'm going to go ahead and drag over. Let's do a text field here. Oops. Go ahead and let go of that. You'll notice it's going to show text field. Now, if I want to rename this, all I have to do is double click on any field title there and I can rename it. So I'm just going to, for the sake of demonstration here, say rename title goes here. I do need to have, as I mentioned, at least one required field, and then we'll talk about where the display on list happens here in just a moment. Now that that's happened, I can go ahead and hit save. When I come back to my demo site here, you'll notice I have something called test form. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And you'll notice here that it says rename title goes here. So when you are adding a field and you're saying display on list here, that is actually going to show that field on the data grid. And I'll show you a better example of how that looks in just a little bit. But back to our fields for now. The next thing we're going to talk about is adding multiple fields. So let's say that I wanted to add 3 drop downs. So I'm going to put in the number 3 here, and I'm going to go ahead and drag over the drop down, and you'll notice that it added 3 different drop downs for me, and this resets to 1. So anytime you want to add multiple, you can do that. I'm going to add 2 text fields, and I'm going to drag and drop that over there. So that is the multi-add feature. Next, we're going to talk about the different columns. So you'll notice I've been dragging everything into this one column form here. If I go ahead and save that, I'm going to hop over to my other tab and show you what this looks like so far. You'll notice everything is on one column. Now I could come back over to my form designer, and maybe I want to add a text field over on column 2. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to go back to that form, refresh, and you'll notice that I now have a 2-column form. So you can have up to 2 columns, but no more than that. Keep that in mind as you are building your forms. If you want to reorder a field or move it, you can do that. You just click and hold and drag it and move it up. We do recommend that you save often every time you make a change. Next, deleting a field. If you want to delete a field, all you do is hit the red X. It will go away. Keep in mind, when you hit that X and hit save, that field is gone forever. So you're going to want to make sure that you definitely want to do that. Otherwise, you'll have to re-add it down the road. We talked about renaming a field. Once again, you just double click and go ahead and click off, and that will save, and we're going to go ahead and hit save there. Moving right down the list, required fields. So when we talked before about having multiple requireds, you could do that. I could set as many of these to be required on my form as I'd like, and I can go ahead and hit save on that. Display on list we talked about, so if I have display on list checked here, let me just show you a little bit of a better example here of a list here. Give me 1 second to find a good example, of course. Here we go. So you'll notice display on list has a number of columns here. So on this particular form, we've set it up to display the start date, the vehicle number, the fuel level, and the odometer. So you can control which things that you see here on your form designer list, keeping in mind you can go into any one of these at any time by clicking on it and then viewing the full details of that form entry. All right, going back to our form designer, moving right on down the list, the drop-down field. You'll notice that I dragged over a couple drop-downs. I'm going to do another one here. We'll do a fresh one, and I'm going to call this station. All right, and we're going to have the employee choose in the drop-down which station that they're working out of or that this form relates to. So all you need to do is do the station name, comma, and then you can go from there. Station 2, I could do, station 3, station 4. So whatever those pull down options would be, I can go ahead and hit save on that. And once that saves, I'm going to come over here again, refresh, and you'll notice that I now have the options here, station 1, 2, 3, and 4. So all you need to do is separate those with a comma, and you don't need a space in between each of those. The next thing we're going to talk about is the member field, member or employee field essentially. So I'm going to drag that over. Now if I don't do anything, if I leave that as member and I hit save, I'm going to go back here again and refresh my screen. You'll notice that it's going to give me the names of all the employees, all the members that are in my account, or I should say active members. So that would be one way to do it. Another way to do it would be to make this employee field here be more specific to match your schedule template. So let's go look at the schedule template here for the demo site. You'll notice, let me make this a little bigger for you. You'll notice we have a number of different positions, one of them being paramedic. So I'm going to go back to my form designer. I'm going to double click member and I'm simply going to rename it to paramedic. Now by doing that, the form designer is only going to pull in the names of the paramedics in my account. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to jump back here and take a look at that form. Let's see, test form here. Make this a little smaller. I'm going to hit plus to add a new entry, and you'll notice that this list now only includes the paramedics. Multiple member fields if you'd like to do that. So we've got one here for paramedic. I could also add another one. I'm going to drag over member, and I believe I have a position in my system here called officer. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Go back to my form. Oops, wrong tab. Let's refresh here. And you'll notice I now have a field called officer. So these will, depending on your account, pull in the names of the employees that match the different positions that are within your specific account. All right, the other things you can do, as we talked about, you can drag over labels if you want to do that, and you can have those be sort of section headers, same thing. You can give it a title, and you can go ahead and save that. I could also do a blank row if I wanted to create a little bit of space. I can go ahead and save that. We are going to create another video specifically talking about the vehicle and the mileage fields. So if your organization is using our vehicle maintenance feature, please check out the other video, and that will give you more details on how the vehicle and the mileage fields work. If you have any questions about the different form fields, our support team is happy to help. Thanks for watching.